Welcome to part 2 of my abridged Xenonauts campaign. Last time we got things started building a base in Crete and beginning our scan for alien activity. We downed an alien UFO and then went in on the ground to take out the crew, and that went quite successfully. After that we started building up our base, ready to expand our operations into other theatres of the world, and then while that was underway we were attacked again, finding another alien UFO and easily destroying its small crew, so now we're ready to continue on. Back in the base I started building a new hangar because we're about to have need for extra aircraft space, as we'll see. We've researched the MiG-32 Foxtrot, a heavy fighter, although we have to do some work to actually use it first. We're buying up some Russian jets and then converting them over to be anti-alien craft, and that's going to take a while and a whole load of money, but once it's done they'll be able to fire heavier missiles than our current fighters can, so they'll be more useful against big alien ships if we were to encounter some. We'll get working on that. In the meantime we get 2 alien contacts at the same time. One's over Italy, and it's a different shape to the other ones, and indeed it's a different type of ship this time. It's actually an even smaller ship than what we're usually facing. It's a single alien fighter. These things are inferior to our own fighters, so we can easily down them. I downed it over the sea, so it doesn't create a crash site. But I think for fighters it doesn't create a crash site anyway, because they're too small, they don't have a crew for you to go and fight. So I think if you downed it over land you would just get some salvage and some free money, so a shame we didn't down it over land. You do get some extra reputation for destroying an alien threat though. As for the other contact, we want to avoid the same thing happening. You can see it's going off over the sea, so I'm now going to patrol on the edge of the land, and I just hoped it would come back, and it did after a while, so now we can try to intercept it while it's just about over land, so we can get an extra mission going, since the more missions we can get, the more experience potentially we can get for our crew. Even though destroying the aliens is our priority and just taking them out over sea would be fine, we'll probably need some experienced ground crew later on, so we might as well take these early missions as much as possible. So here we go, I send the squad out to take a look. We don't see much around our initial landing zone, but then there are some sounds of fighting coming from nearby, and an alien starts running up the road. The aliens are fighting with civilians or local forces, and that's what that shooting is. We're just going to leave them to it because we don't want to put our own team members at risk, even to save civilians, because in this war there's only 10 of us and there are a lot of civilians, so we can afford to lose them. Our sniper misses a 95% shot on that red alien. That was disappointing. Then a disappointing throw of the grenade from Betty. It goes way wide of the target even though we're not throwing it very far. Very disappointing. So with all that failed, we're now going to have to advance up normally. Take some reaction fire, but we get away with it. We'll just go up with the shields, with troops behind the shields trying to protect themselves. The grenade goes off, setting fire to some grass but not achieving much else. Then the alien runs up and shoots a shield, not too bad, and a reaction fire from that shotgunner brings him down. I think that's Big Iron there. So that's the first encounter dealt with okay, although harder than expected. I moved further down the road without seeing much, but then when I sent a guy out to check the fields over to our right flank, we spotted an alien red guy crouching in the vegetables there, and the alien UFO landed nearby, so looks like that's where we need to go next. As for this red guy, we're going to do the usual over-the-hedge strategy of throwing grenades, since he can't see us, but we can see him with our spotter. So Ray and Prey puts a grenade over there, it goes off, damages and suppresses him, but the guy is still alive. He doesn't do anything in his turn though. That means we can still sneak up behind him. He's facing down and to the left. So as Die First comes up behind him, he's not going to take reaction fire. So he sneaks up, shoots the guy in the back, and he's down. That went pretty well. Now, since we're next to the UFO, might as well try to secure it. I start moving the team ready to enter, but then we take a shot from down to the bottom of the screen. There's a barn down there with apparently an alien who can see us, so now we're in trouble. We can't see him at the moment. The aliens might have longer line of sight than me. I'm not quite sure how things ended up when I was modding the game to increase line of sight. I'm not sure if they're meant to have longer line of sight than you, but anyway. I just abandoned the position on the road and got everyone into the field so we'd be in cover from that direction. Then it was time to focus back on the UFO. An alien comes out and we do some reaction fire against him, getting a kill, but you may have noted there that I think it was Betty Buckshot shot 2 of our guys in the back while attempting to shoot the alien. That was not good, so at least we've learned something about the game now. There is friendly fire with reaction fire. I think it doesn't trigger if the guy is 1 tile in front of you, but anyone else in front of you will also get hit by your shots, so stacking up like I've done here in big columns is a bad idea. Now I needed to attempt to learn how to use the first aid kits that all of our guys are carrying. Turns out you have to equip it as a weapon and then use it on yourself, so we can stop the bleeding and restore some of the damage from that friendly fire. Once that was sorted, we needed to go into the UFO. There was 1 more alien inside. Proof advances with a shield to be nice and safe, and then we'll take a shot here, making sure to stand on the left side of the UFO so the alien outside probably can't see us. But the alien inside takes a reaction fire shot and destroys Pruiff's shield, and she doesn't have enough time units to shoot again. Luckily, Get-In can come in and do the exact same thing, this time going to be more effective. He gets the kill. So we've secured the UFO, and technically this is all you need to do. If you just wait 5 turns after securing the UFO, you automatically win. However, one of the aliens that was fighting us from down there comes and stands in the open, so I thought we might as well try and shoot back. Ray and Prey didn't ray hard enough, so all of those shots missed, unfortunately. I started moving to fight this alien better, but it fires back and destroys Get-In's shield. Not nice. Our reaction fire does damage, but not enough to bring this guy down. Then it turns out there's another enemy in the fog of war there who takes a flanking shot and hits Get-In. He loses half of his health and now needs to get out of there. So once again I'm going to fall back into my field and try to play things as safe as possible. We really don't want casualties. We do manage to bring down that alien in the open with some combined shooting from Ray and Prey and Hopeless Jack. And then I started scouting off to the left to see if I could outflank the alien that was attacking me, but by the time I finally saw them, the mission was over because the 5 turns have counted down. So there we have it, another victorious mission with a load of wounds this time, but no actual casualties. We've already built our medical centre, so hopefully we can patch up all those buckshot to the back of the head wounds. While chilling after the mission, we complete the research on the alien plasma rifle. This doesn't let us use these things or build similar things quite yet, but now that we know how they work, we can make armour that will somewhat protect against them. So we're going to research now the Jackal combat armour, some sort of ceramic anti-heat armour that might allow our guys to survive taking plasma shots directly, sometimes at least. Then we scan for a bit more, not much happens until finally a UFO is detected down to the south over Africa. I sent a fighter to pursue, but unfortunately we did lose track of it. It went off our radar range and I couldn't find it anymore. While looking for it though, we did find an alien fighter, so I can down that quickly and get a bit of a reward there since we did it over land this time. But as I said earlier, no actual mission is triggered, and that's really what we're looking for. We'll just have to go home. We complete the research on the Jackal combat armor, so now we're going to be able to build it. It's not an automatic upgrade or something, it's a piece of equipment we need to buy and construct in our base, and then we can equip it later on. I need to reassign research. Since we're done with that, we'll go with alien alloys. I'm hoping that we'll be able to use alien materials to upgrade our fighters or something using that. And there we go, starting the construction of a few sets of this Jackal armor. It's pretty expensive. You can see in the top right, we don't have that much money, and we need to have 500,000 spare in order to build a new base once we're ready, and a whole load spare just to pay upkeep as the month goes on. I'll probably build the base in the next month once we're sure we're actually going to get through the first month after paying all of our soldiers and scientists. Now, as we see here, I eventually did find that UFO down in South Africa because it came back into our radar range, so I decided to look for it again and indeed found it that second time. So now we've got a mission. We deploy into an urban area, not much around our deployment zone, but once I moved up we spotted a lizard-type alien crouching in the road, so a new foe, and this is the foe I was familiar with fighting from the campaigns I tried before this one, so I know that these guys are much more powerful than the opponents we've been facing so far. We couldn't shoot him initially because he was completely blocked by all the cars in the way, but we saw him walk off to the right somewhere, and while I was repositioning my team to go into the building on the right to try and combat him, I discovered he was actually still crouching in the road just on the other side. My sniper was in a perfect position to take a shot, so we go for it and get the hit. Very good, but still we'll need much more damage than that to bring him down. Betty, who was crossing the road, needs to quickly rush back into cover, and now we'll wait to see what the alien does here. We spot for a second that it was was moving, and we also saw a green number above it. It appears to be healing. I wasn't quite sure whether that was what had really happened when I was playing, but in retrospect that is what happened, because it tells you later on that these guys can heal wounds, so I think half of the damage you do to them gets healed if you don't immediately actually kill them. Meaning we need to get much more fire onto these guys and kill them fast to be efficient. I tried looking for it using Perif, but I couldn't see it, so it's just around the corner I think of that building, but out of our line of sight. I'm going to run back and hide because I'm going to play this super safe. I tried to continue moving my team into this building. I want to set up by that door and by these windows just to be safe. We'll have cover but can still fire out at things as they come into our line of sight. In the alien turn, the alien reappears and he shoots through the door and through the window, suppressing 3 of our team members and hitting Big Iron. We get a shot back on him with reaction fire, but not enough to bring him down, so that was more dangerous than I expected. Big Iron is still alive because he has really high health due to the random generation of your stats at the start of the game and the gain of stats from previous missions. He's able to actually survive being shot with one of these weapons. They're meant to kill you in one hit, and if you look carefully you'll see that the 50-ish damage that it did would have been enough to kill most of our operators in one hit, and that was the problem I faced during my failed attempts at the run initially, where I just got the entire squad wiped out with one-hit kills from burst fire weapons. Anyway, we do some healing on Big Iron, we get a snipe on the lizard, and then I just send Getin outside to shoot this guy in the face at point blank range, and finally that's enough to bring him down. But of course there are going to be plenty more lizards skulking around, so we need to be careful as we advance up. I moved through onto the other side of the building and discovered the alien UFO, very neatly parked for a crash landing I must say. I formed up ready to come up with some sort of plan to get in there, but as I was doing it, Betty discovers a new enemy. I was going to send her off to the left somewhere to find a flanking position in another building, but there's actually an alien over here by these shipping containers. It probably wasn't there earlier. Annoyingly, I'm out of movement points, out of time units right now, so all I can do is crouch and hope it doesn't come over and shoot me in the face. Fortunately enough, it doesn't. We see an alien dancing about in the UFO for a bit there, and then this guy just comes and crouches a bit closer, so that's not too bad. As for dealing with it, I didn't want to have to reposition the whole squad, but I did have my sniper who was still in the middle of repositioning who could see this guy, so I can now crouch down on the floor and take a pretty clear shot right at him. Good chance to hit, and we get it. He fires back with a reaction shot though. It misses luckily, I guess because we're somewhat far away that had a low chance to hit. And now, because he'd already shot, I was pretty confident I could run at him like this without getting shot again, and it seems to work out, and Betty brings him down with some buckshot, so that works out okay in the end. With that sorted, it's back to planning what we'll do about the UFO. It's no easy feat right now because there's not much cover right in front of it. However, here was a little trick that I read about somewhere or other. Someone said that the doors on UFOs were destructible, so I just shot at it using the attack ground thing you can do with the machine gun, and it seemed to work. The door was broken open, so that will stop the enemy from constantly opening and closing it in between turns and just shooting and then going out of our line of sight. Interestingly, one of the aliens inside runs out and takes cover on the wrong side of that little barrier thing, so that wasn't especially clever of them. Another burst of machine gun fire then kills it. So that was a lucky break, making life much easier for us. Now our assault on the UFO should be relatively safe. There was obviously one alien left alive because the mission was still going. And I spotted him there, sitting at the back of the UFO. Now I needed to work out if there was some sort of safe way of attacking him. We can hide our shield guys behind these barriers where they'll have a pretty low chance of being hit. I ended up forming up all around the door, but not really wanting to go in and do anything, because I was so sure that if I made a move for the door and popped around to try and shoot them, the guy might just shoot me right back and kill one of my operators. Luckily though, there was another way to deal with him. There's a safe position I can hit him from in this building with my sniper. I run right in here, and I notice that I can actually take a shot right now, an unaimed shot basically, with a very low chance of hitting. So we're just going to try and no-scope this guy with old Snips McNo-scope, and he actually does it, living up to his name, and that was the last alien. So a surprisingly lucky ending to the mission there. The last two aliens went down real fast. I expected more trouble after that first one was such a nuisance. Anyway, good work to our soldiers, lots of stat ups, a couple of promotions there, and some stuff salvaged that we can sell for money. We've also salvaged now one of the corpses of these lizard guys, so we do an autopsy on them, and in the information it gives you, it does confirm that they can regenerate health. They have some sort of mega blood that can heal up their wounds. It also mentions they're particularly stupid, which might explain that guy going and hiding on the wrong side of cover. Maybe they're programmed to make weird decisions like that to represent their stupidity. It also mentions they can see through smoke, which explains something I experienced in the campaign before this one that I keep referring to, where they wiped out my guys when I thought I was covered by smoke. But anyway, good to know that these guys are a bit more of a threat than the grey aliens we saw so far. We can now research alien biology as a result of doing some autopsies, I suppose, and it says it will allow us to capture aliens eventually, so we'll get on that in the future. Got some other priorities for now. Now for our next UFO contacts, we get 2 at the same time, and in both cases I send out a condor to intercept. However, this proves to be a mistake in both cases, because for the first one it's already landed, meaning we need to send the strike team instead to just go and attack the crew, so I start organising that. And for the second one, it's because it's actually a new type of enemy UFO that can fly faster than my Condor, so I couldn't catch up with it for ages. I was trying to organise some sort of interception using a different plane to go in front of it, but luckily it happened to U-turn suddenly and we did intercept it. We can see it's a new type of craft, the Scout, and that our Condors can't bring them down, only a 1% chance of victory, so that probably means we need to bring out our MiG Foxtrots with the heavier missiles instead. We can't, unfortunately, link up our airborne planes with the squadron we've just sent out, so they're going to have to just go back to base, and a single Condor and a Foxtrot will go after the Scout. This time we can catch up with it, and it proves to be enough to bring it down with a 100% chance this time, so it does just seem to be you need the heavy missiles the Foxtrot carries to break the armour on these things, but otherwise they're no threat, and down it goes. That creates a mission for us, but first we're doing the mission where the UFO had already landed. So here we are. We come out of the helicopter and see an alien lizard standing around over by these warehouses, so we form up ready to engage. It runs right at us. We can't get any reaction fire right away because the guys who can see it have already moved too much. It comes round the corner, shoots Buckshot Betty, she fires back and brings it down, but the real surprise there was that Buckshot Betty didn't actually die. Betty Buckshot, I think her name actually is, because it only did like 20 something damage. Usually those plasma rifles, and at close range especially, do like 50 to 60 damage at least, sometimes up to 120 because it shoots multiple projectiles at once. So that was miraculous basically. We got away with that. That was a good start. My plan was to go towards the lower left end of the map because I could see some civilian forces here, and indeed one of them getting shot reveals that there is an alien in this area somewhere. They're still trying to battle with each other, but I think the civilian forces just don't really do anything, since it would be kind of cheaty if they could actually kill a few aliens for you, although I presume it is possible. Now Prif moves up and looks round the corner, and there's an alien standing on these train tracks. Interestingly, it's facing the other direction, meaning we can walk up behind it without taking reaction fire. So we get old Big Iron to come over here, and now I'm going to carefully work out how close I can walk to it and still have enough points to make an aimed shot against it. So that's the sweet spot. We take the shot and it goes right down. Good stuff. I think the civilians might have damaged it for that amount of damage to kill it outright. So good work from them. Next up, there was a really long time searching for more aliens in these buildings, being really careful. I eventually discovered some just in the next warehouse over. We can't properly see each other because of these barrels in the way, so there's no clear lines of sight, meaning it's the perfect situation for throwing grenades. I tried to throw one with Pruitt, but I didn't really see where it went there. It definitely didn't go to the target, and I was worried it had hit the ground near Hopeless Jack's, so he had to escape and get back inside to avoid potentially taking damage there. Then Pruitt fell back to a safer position, and I wanted Big Iron to go through this door into this little office. However, I didn't realise that opening the door costs time units, so while I had enough movement to walk up to it and potentially move a few tiles in, opening the door meant I was now frozen on the spot with my flank turned to the alien, a pretty dangerous position for Big Iron. I moved over Die first to get another bit of line of sight on the alien and take a shot, missing. But it has the desired effect. Now the alien is going to be stuck engaging with Die first because it's got direct line of sight on him, rather than moving forwards and potentially just getting a point blank range shot on Big Iron. Fortunately for Die First, the shots against him miss. He's suppressed, but that's not really a big deal right now. And Big Iron is now in a good position to attack the alien. He can move over to these barrels, which stops them from blocking his line of sight. Adjacent things don't block your line of sight if there's some way of looking over them. And then he has enough movement points to shoot twice in the same turn, and that does the damage we need to bring the alien down. Good work. Moving over the body of that alien and peeking around the corner reveals another target. The guy doing the looking here, Plasmagnet, is a new guy in Charlie 1 because Get-In, Shot At and Snips McNoscope, our sniper, have been transferred to Charlie 2, so we have a couple of officers in that new squad that we're forming. So we've got a new shield guy and a new sniper in this team, for which this is their first mission. Dealing with this alien proved to be unusually easy because all it did was walk towards us without firing, then a single shot back with a handgun from Plasmagnet brought it down. There's no way that did enough damage to kill it, so it must have been almost dead from fighting the civilian forces or something. Anyway, we went through the warehouse into the train yard behind and discovered another alien. This guy was kind of annoying because he kept running backwards into greater and greater cover, and now he's backed himself into a corner facing us, so we can't really make any safe attacks. We're always in danger of taking reaction fire. I thought maybe we can outflank him and go around the fence to his left and shoot through it, because they are somewhat passable. However, going over there would expose us to where the UFO appears to be. We can see the door on its own over there, and I didn't want to risk someone coming out and shooting my outflanking team, so I had to just go in with a shield guy and try to not die. There's one miss and one hit on the shield, so mission accomplished there. We're still alive, no damage done, and we even did some damage back to the alien. Now someone needs to shoot it. A few people have the opportunity to do so. I'm going to pick Jack here. It does somewhat matter who you pick to land blows on aliens because it increases your accuracy stat to fire at enemies, so you don't want someone who's never really shot anything in combat to be in your squad, just in case they need to land a shot at some point. So nice to spread the kills out if we can. Now I'm skipping really far ahead now because I spent ages rotating the squad around to face the front of the UFO and try to still be in cover. An alien had come outside and is firing at my shield guy there. That's okay, and we ended up actually getting a nice shot here with our gunner. We can shoot through that little window and not be blocked at all and get a nice flanking shot on the alien. He goes down in one burst and the mission was suddenly successful. No more aliens in the UFO. So well done all round, lots of stat ups and a couple of promotions, and Big Iron got a medal of some kind. Not quite sure what it does, maybe I'll find out later, but hopefully he's very proud of that. Everything's sorted. Of course, we are going to go straight into another fight after this one because Charlie 2 is already on the way to hit that other UFO we downed. So in the next part, we'll see Charlie 2's first combat action, and we'll be working on building our second base as we progress into the second month of the game and the invasion escalates.